Number 10. California plane wreckage. A mysterious plane wreck may have just been discovered in Folsom Lake, California. This chilling discovery was made thanks to an underwater drone using new sonar mapping technology. The find was a total accident, with researchers shocked when they saw the shape of something that most certainly resembles an airplane at the very bottom of the lake. They believe this could be the wreckage of a four-seater plane that crashed back in 1965 and was never recovered. The plane that crashed was a Piper Comanche 250, and it happened on New Year's Day when the aircraft smashed head-on with another aircraft. The pilot's body was recovered soon after, but the search crews never could find the plane or the 3 passengers who were on board at the time of the incident. They were assumed dead and gone. 50 years later, in 2014, search efforts were renewed to try and give the victims' families a bit of closure, but 3 full days of searching revealed nothing. It wasn't until a survey company was trying to map the depth and shape of the seafloor that they accidentally found what they believed to be the 1965 crash site. It's definitely a plane, it's definitely at the bottom of a lake, but researchers are still figuring out how in the world they're going to bring the plane back up to the surface. Number 9. Shape-shifting fish. Scientists recently spotted one of the most mysterious and elusive animals anywhere in the deep sea. It's a fish that literally shape-shifts, and it was spotted thanks to scientists piloting a remotely operated submarine. The shape-shifting fish is known scientifically as a whalefish, and it was found swimming nonchalantly at about 66,000 feet, not far from Monterey Bay in California. It was one of the only times that scientists have ever seen this creature, which baffled the experts for over a century. The shape-shifting fish was first discovered in 1895 by a pair of scientists from the Smithsonian Institution. However, the fish was categorized as a few different animals throughout the next 100 years. The problem is that the fish changes shape dramatically as it moves through its life cycles. Scientists mistook each step of the fish's life cycle as an entirely different animal belonging to a different zoological family. When the fish is born, it's a scaleless larva thing that kind of looks like a tadpole. Then it turns into a fish. But depending on whether it's male or female, it looks very different. Males have scales and big noses, and they never eat even once for the rest of their life. Females, on the other hand, bloat and grow way larger than the males, resembling whales. They also turn bright orange. They look like 2 entirely different animals. Number 8. The Beer Shipwreck. Dive technician and amateur treasure hunter Steve Hickman recently explored a vessel that had been rotting on the bottom of the ocean for over 100 years. His goal was to get some beer. He dove down with a large bag, swam into the broken hold of the ancient vessel, and began filling his bag with preserved glass bottles of beer. There were dozens and even hundreds of them, rows of glass beer bottles mostly buried under sediment. But let's back it up a bit. This mysterious underwater vessel is the wreckage of the WRECKAGE, a ship that sank in 1895 off the coast of Scotland after it crashed into another vessel because of fog. The WRECKAGE had just left Glasgow, stocked to the brim with bottles of alcohol to be shipped across the world. All that alcohol ended up at the bottom of the sea, only to be recovered 100 years later. The reason Steve Hickman is so interested in taking the bottles of beer, whiskey, and gin is that he and his colleagues are working to extract live yeast from ancient liquid to recreate the original brew. In other words, he's using the sunken beer bottles to recreate the recipe and once more brew beer that's been lost for centuries. Number 7. Croatia's Blue Cave. The Blue Cave in Croatia is one of the most amazing natural geological phenomena ever discovered in the water. It's remarkable for one reason. The entire cave glows blue as if lit up by thousands of nightlights. And yes, it's entirely natural. The locals have known about the glowing cave for thousands of years, but it was the Austrian explorer Baron Eugene von Rasenet-Villiers who first described it after finding the place in 1884 on a diving expedition. An artificial entrance was blasted into the rock so that small boats could enter, carrying with them eager tourists. But other than the entrance, nothing about the cave is man-made at all. It was simply formed by waves crashing into the rock over hundreds of thousands of years. The reason the cave glows blue, while it may seem like magic, is actually thanks to the rays of sunlight hitting the surface of the ocean through an opening in the rock. The light then reflects off the limestone seabed. All these reflections create a brilliant blue, more like turquoise, as if you're standing in a mystic cave about to be greeted by some mermaids. Number 6. The New Atlantis. Atlantis is a myth, a legend invented by the Greek writer Plato sometime around 360 BC. This is 2,300 years ago, with all the details of Atlantis being laid out in a work of fiction. Plato described Atlantis as a utopian civilization founded by a demigod and then cursed by the rest of the gods for becoming too greedy. The gods then sent Atlantis tumbling into the ocean, where it's absolutely never been found because it probably never existed. The good news is that if you find yourself in Dubai sometime soon, you can visit the new city of Atlantis. In an extremely weird move, Dubai has constructed their very own underwater city of Atlantis. Well, it's actually the world's deepest dive pool. It just so happens to be so deep and so enormous that the designers built a mysterious ancient city at the bottom. The city is so big that there are 56 cameras installed so that nobody accidentally gets lost and drowns. Do you think there's an actual lost city of Atlantis out there somewhere? Where do you think it is? Let me know in the comments down below, and be sure to subscribe for more videos like these. And let us know what other abandoned and amazing things you'd like to hear about in the comments below. Number 5. Giant Shark. One of the biggest sharks ever seen by human eyes was just witnessed off the coast of New England. The shark was so big that some believe it could actually be a baby megalodon. The megalodon was the largest shark and fish that has ever lived on our planet, growing to a maximum of between 60 and 80 feet. This newest shark, while definitely massive, was not quite that big. Experts say it was only 26 feet long. And as much as we wish it was proof that megalodons still live among us, it was actually just a basking shark. The basking shark is the second largest shark species in the world. But despite its hulking size, the shark is actually quite friendly. It's nothing like the megalodon, which was the true definition of terror in the sea. Number 4. Eavesdropping dolphins. Scientists have just made a very weird water discovery, this time about dolphins, specifically the Rhesus dolphin, a species that can be found near just about every coastline in the world. They have bulging heads, white and gray coloring, and are recognizable all over the globe. They also make a series of strange noises to communicate with one another. To us, these noises sound like clicks and whistles. According to Charlotte Cure, a bioacoustics expert who knows a whole lot about dolphins, the clicks and whistles are used by dolphins to communicate directly with each other. But scientists have figured out that not only do dolphins communicate, they also eavesdrop. This revelation came after 4 years of studying in the field. Researchers parked their boats above where dolphins were playing and then recorded the noises that they picked up from other groups of dolphins. What they found is that dolphins can hear the conversations of other dolphins from quite far away. They then use what they learned eavesdropping to make important decisions. As an example, when the dolphins hear male dolphins in the area, most female dolphins and young dolphins will turn the other way and run. This is because male dolphins are known to harass females and bully other males. Number 3. Underwater Island. A mysterious underwater island shaped like a bean was recently spotted in the Arabian Sea thanks to Google Maps. This is one of the more unusual water discoveries because nobody can figure out where the island came from or if it's even real. There's clearly a giant black spot just off the coast of the city of Kochi in India, but there shouldn't be. There's no artificial or natural structures in the area, and nobody knows of any construction project that's gone on there. Nonetheless, there's a giant bean-shaped island underwater. It's either a malfunction with the Google Earth technology, or there's something mysterious down there that nobody knows about yet. Some say it could be a crashed alien ship slowly rising to the surface, while others say it's just a giant mound of sand. Until somebody actually goes down there and looks, we just won't have any definitive answers. Number 2. Skeletons and a pirate ship. Archaeologists in Cape Cod off the coast of Massachusetts have discovered a group of skeletons inside a vessel that sank in 1717 and killed just about every last person on board. This was the British pirate ship called the Whydah, manned by 146 sailors when it was destroyed. It also had a small hoard of treasure on board. To this day, it's the only authenticated pirate wreckage on the planet. It was captained by James Bellamy, one of the richest pirates in pirate history. The captain, along with everyone except 2 of the members of the crew, went down with the ship after it got stuck in a storm. At the time, the ship was carrying treasure from an estimated 50 other ships that were captured and pillaged by James Bellamy's pirates. The wreckage was originally found in modern times in 1984. Thousands of pieces of treasure were brought up from the wreckage, but it was just recently that a team of underwater divers came across a complete skeleton and fragments of 5 other skeletons. It appears as though when the ship sank, these 6 individuals were crushed by the chunks of timber being ripped apart. Not only did the poor pirates have to drown in a storm, they were also crushed to death by their sinking ship. Not a great way to go. Number 1. Sunken train. A sunken train was found at the bottom of Lake Superior 106 years after it went off the rails, quite literally. The train was discovered near the small town of Schreiber in Ontario, on the Canadian side of the lake. Tom Crossman, an underwater recovery expert, was the one to make the find back in July. He found the full wreckage of the CPR 694 freight train that crashed in June of 1910. The train went off the rails because it hit a boulder that was lying on the track. It was one of the most violent derailments of all time, with the train plummeting over 60 feet into the lake, then slipping another 180 feet to the bottom. 3 men were killed in the wreckage, and only one of their bodies was ever recovered. Unfortunately, the train is way too deep and way too heavy for it to ever be pulled out of the lake. Tom Crossman used a remotely operated vehicle to find and document the sunken wreckage. If anything, the locomotive's bell and whistle might be recovered and then donated to a local museum. But if not, this ancient piece of history will probably remain at the bottom of the lake for another 106 years. What's the strangest thing you've ever found in the water? Let me know in the comments, and thanks so much for watching. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit subscribe and come back soon for another awesome video right here on American Eye.